Well, Bennett Kessler filed this report. When the Bishop Family Health Center closed last month, hundreds of patients said they could find no new primary care doctors. Reports to Sierra Wave Media said the rural health clinic would accept no new patients. Now, the situation exists not from a lack of effort on the part of Northern Inyo Hospital. Administrator John Halfin explained that recruitment for primary care and other doctors goes on all the time with a varied rate of success. Now, Administrator Halfin said he spends 20% of his time on physician recruitment. Part of the problem is a general shortage of doctors. The New York Times recently published a story that quoted the Association of American Medical College as estimating that in 2015, the country will have 62,900 fewer doctors than needed. They say that by 2025, the number will more than double. Now, the Family Health Center in Bishop closure that is highlighted by the lack of primary care doctors in Bishop. Halfin said he interviewed one candidate last Friday and she has yet to make a decision. The administrator said there are two others who would come to Bishop if they could sell their homes. 3 more interviews are coming up, and Halfin said, quote, "It's a difficult time for people to move," end quote. Now, for many physicians, the challenges of the Eastern Sierra do not make a good choice. A lack of services, limited air service, and hundreds of miles from larger cities. Administrator Halfin said that any doctor recruited by the hospital is then regulated by the institution. He said, quote, "Private doctors can be less constrained," end quote. But these days, a solo practice has a hard time surviving. Government medical reimbursement rates have plummeted. Halfin said all the doctors he's talking to would have to practice from the rural health clinic first and then choose whether to go to private practice. He said that more and more nurse practitioners are coming in to handle direct medical care under the supervision of 2 part-time doctors in the rural health clinic. Well, last week, private reports in Mammoth Lakes indicated there might have been some news on the settlement of the $43 million debt to Mammoth Lakes land acquisition. There wasn't. Bennett Kessler filed this report. Assistant Town Manager Mariana Marashiva Martinez had invited Sierra Wave Media to contact her Friday to check on any developments, but she had nothing to report. Now, again this week, the Town Council in Mammoth Lakes has scheduled 2 closed sessions on the debt issue and bankruptcy in general. At 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, the Town Council scheduled a special meeting comprised only of a closed session on town bankruptcy proceedings. On Wednesday, the Mammoth Lakes Town Council has scheduled a regular meeting with a 4 p.m. closed session on bankruptcy issues. Now, the agenda notes a teleconference location as a condo in Mexico. Town Clerk Jamie Gray explained that Councilman Michael Raimondo wanted to be able to call in and vote on the closed session item. Now, it is still unknown when or if the town will conclude a settlement deal with MLLA and Terry Ballas. Mammoth officials had announced that a settlement was reached, but must go through documentation and detailing. Now, Assistant Town Manager Martinez said that she hoped to have some news by the Wednesday night Town Council meeting. The public now waits to find out how much money the town may have settled for and the terms of payment. Now, also on Wednesday's agenda, a 5 p.m. workshop with the Recreation Commission and Measure U Application Committee on funding priorities for tax measures R and U. A report from the Sierra Business Council on economic possibilities in Inyo and Mono counties, Measure R fall funding applications, as well as some planning issues. Well, the second marijuana eradication operation this summer unfolded on Inyo National Forest lands outside of Lone Pine on Tuesday. The Inyo Narcotics Enforcement Team, that's INET, reported that agents eradicated about 4,000 marijuana plants with a potential street value of $10 million. Now, it was the end of August when Mono narcotics agents reported the eradication of around 30,000 marijuana plants. That was at an undisclosed location on the Inyo National Forest. Now, INET agents said that the site this week appeared to have been abandoned by the cultivators in days prior to the law enforcement operation. INET said that they had help from the Inyo County Sheriff's Office, California Highway Patrol, U.S. Forest Service, and the U.S. Bureau of Land Management. INET agents said they removed large loads of garbage and rubber hose left behind by the cultivators. A CHP helicopter also assisted the eradication team with the extraction of marijuana plants and garbage. Officers and agents warn the public that if you become aware that you have entered a cultivation site, leave to avoid possible threat. The INET press release says, quote, walk, crawl, or run out the way you came in and make as little noise as possible. The growers, said agents, may not know that you found their operation or they might not be present, end quote. Now, agents advise that you contact law enforcement as soon as possible. And it's, again, some clues for those hiking the backcountry who may have found a cultivation site. Could include the smell of marijuana similar to a skunk, hoses or drip lines, a well-used trail where there shouldn't be one, voices in unusual places, people standing along roads without vehicles, campsites in unusual places, small propane bottles, fertilizer, weapons, garbage, and individuals armed with rifles out of hunting season. Well, and in the recently released Mono County Grand Jury report, jurors made some recommendations for the jail, and they also interviewed Mono County Sheriff Rick Scholl. Now, the report says that the three things most needed by the jail are a third cook, separation of the dispatch area from the control room, and an update of the electronic consoles in the control room. The report says that the sergeant they talked to did not think that separation of dispatch and the control room would happen anytime soon. Now, the control area can electronically communicate between law enforcement agencies, jail door controls, and electrical systems. The report said staffing is an issue to cover these tasks and the dispatch. The report also noted that the electronic control system is aging and will eventually need to be replaced. The dispatch computer system, according to the report, is old and would cost approximately $225,000 to $250,000 to replace. Now, in an interview with Sheriff Scholl, the jury determined that he is staying within his budget with some downsizing and position elimination going on. The jury reports that the court has started conducting video arraignments in the Mammoth Lakes Court building, with arraignments still conducted at the Bridgeport Courthouse weekly. Now, on the issue of the state requiring more prisoners remain in the county jail, the report revealed no major immediate problem. However, according to the jury, the state formula for reimbursement for prisoners is, quote, well below the average daily inmate cost, end quote. They said Sheriff Scholl is working with a state group of sheriffs to stay on top of the issue. Now, the jury report reported that Sheriff Scholl said, quote, people may have to start changing their mindset about how we incarcerate people and be less aggressive about immediately incarcerating people when a citation might suffice, end quote. Now, Scholl said this is being done in some states, and the sheriff said that even though the governor has guaranteed funding for county jails, the November tax measure will make that happen. Now, on the issue of staffing, the sheriff is quoted as saying that there is a constant turnover and the salaries are relatively low. The report says things, quote, always appear to be on the ragged edge, end quote. We'll be back with more news.